Volvo automobile error codes. If you're looking for help fixing your Volvo automobile, look no further. Our comprehensive Volvo automobile error code guide will explain common issues, provide tips, and show you how to read your model's error codes. Code P0010. Wiring problem. Faulty powertrain control module PCM. Defective variable valve timing actuator. Code P0011. Low engine oil level. Wrong engine timing. Worn timing chain. Camshaft variable timing solenoid failure. Subpar engine oil does not meet requirements set by the manufacturer. Defective variable valve timing actuator. Code P0013. Wiring problem. Faulty powertrain control module PCM. Defective variable valve timing actuator. Code P0014. Low engine oil level. Wrong engine timing. Worn timing chain. Camshaft variable timing solenoid failure. Subpar engine oil does not meet requirements set by the manufacturer. Defective variable valve timing actuator. Code P0102. Electrical terminals are corroded or loose in the mass airflow MAF sensor circuit. Defective MAF sensor. Wiring for the MAF sensor is damaged or it's unplugged. Code P0113. Faulty intake air temperature sensor. Faulty mass airflow sensor. Air filter is dirty. Intake air temperature sensor connections or wiring are worn away or malfunctioning. Code P0128. Faulty intake air temperature sensor. Malfunctioning engine thermostat. Faulty engine coolant temperature sensor. Engine coolant is low. Engine cooling fan S are always running or faulty. Malfunctioning intake air temperature sensor. Inaccurate coolant temperature sensor readings caused by dirty engine coolant. Code P0135. Leaking intake system. Malfunctioning oxygen sensor. Air-fuel ratio sensor or heater circuit. Fuel pressure is low. Leaking exhaust system. Faulty engine coolant temperature sensor. Circuit issue or a faulty sensor. Updates required by the PCM software. Malfunctioning PCM. Code P0171. Various leaking vacuums, vacuum hoses. Intake manifold gaskets. PCV hoses, etc. Update control module software. Defective mass airflow sensor. Filthy or clogged fuel injectors. Weak fuel pump or clogged fuel filter. Code P0200. Worn or malfunctioning fuel injector. Connections or wiring. Dirt is in the fuel injector. Plugged fuel injector. Code P0202. Faulty or worn fuel injector. Connections or wiring. Dirt is in the fuel injector. Clogged fuel injector. Code P0300. Inaccurate ignition timing. Worn out spark plugs. Coil S. Ignition wires. Distributor rotor and cap when applicable. Faulty mass airflow sensor. Fuel pressure is weak or low. Leaking vacuum S. Faulty EGR system. Faulty camshaft or crankshaft sensor. Malfunctioning throttle position sensor. Issues with the mechanical engine low compression. Valve issues. Leaking head gasket S, etc. Code P0401. EGR passages are restricted, usually caused by carbon buildup. Faulty EGR valve. Electrical signal or vacuum failure to the EGR valve. Defective EGR vacuum supply solenoid. EGR system feedback is lacking to the computer from the EGR valve position sensor EVP. Differential EGR pressure feedback sensor DPFE. EGR temperature sensor. Manifold absolute pressure sensor map. Code P0420. Malfunctioning front or rear oxygen sensor S. Incompetent catalytic converter S. Engines are misfiring. Code P0430. Faulty catalytic converter. Engine is damaged internally, causing increased oil consumption or the catalytic converter has been damaged by a leaking head gasket. Code P0440. Faulty or damaged or missing fuel cap. Fuel tank filler neck is damaged or deformed. Defective fuel tank sending unit seal or gasket. Carbon canister is damaged or split. Evaporative system hose S are ripped or perforated. Malfunctioning evaporative purge valve or evaporative vent valve. Fuel tank is faulty or damaged. Code P0500. Malfunctioning speedometer. Vehicle speed sensor connector or wiring. Faulty vehicle speed sensor. Issues with the communication CAN bus. Faulty differential vehicle speed sensor drive gear or transmission. Code P0505. Leaking intake manifold vacuum. Faulty idle air control motor. Throttle body air passages have carbon buildup. Code P0600. Faulty PCM powertrain control module or PCM data bus connections. Wiring. Malfunctioning PCM data bus ground circuit S. Other control module controlled output devices are defective. Faulty CAN bus communication. Code P0601. Faulty PCM memory module or ground circuit S. PCM lacks proper voltage. Malfunctioning PCM controlled output devices. Code P0602. Problems with wiring. Powertrain control module PCM failure. Code P0603. Faulty PCM keep alive memory module. Defective PCM controlled output devices. Keep alive memory CAM connection on the PCM lacks proper voltage. Malfunctioning PCM ground circuit S. Code P0605. Faulty PCM ROM memory module or PCM ground circuit S. PCM lacks proper grounding and/or voltage. PCM controlled output devices are malfunctioning. Code P0700. Faulty valve body. Faulty shift solenoids. Faulty engine coolant temperature sensor. Hydraulic passages are restricted by dirty transmission fluid. Code P0720. Faulty valve body. Faulty engine coolant temperature sensor. Faulty output speed sensor. Defective output speed sensor connector or wiring. Malfunctioning shift solenoids. Hydraulic passages are restricted by dirty transmission fluid. Code P0730. Malfunctioning shift solenoids. Faulty valve body. Faulty engine coolant temperature sensor. Hydraulic passages are restricted by dirty transmission fluid. Code P0841. Low transmission fluid level. Problems with wiring. Transmission control module TCM failure. Faulty transmission fluid pressure sensor. Code P0A0D. Faulty powertrain control module PCM. Issues with wiring. Failure of the inverter. Converter assembly. Code P0A0F. Faulty internal engine. Failure of the hybrid transaxle assembly. Failure of the power management control module. Code P0A80. Failure of the high voltage battery assembly. Code P0B22. Failure of the battery contactor assembly or battery energy control module BECM. Code P2101. Failure of the powertrain control module PCM or accelerator pedal position app assembly. Faulty throttle control motor. Wiring problems. Code P2181. Low engine coolant level. Failure of the engine coolant heater. Faulty thermostat. Code P2237. Faulty oxygen sensor. Failure of the powertrain control module PCM. Leaking exhaust. Issues with wiring. Code U0001. Wheel speed sensor circuit issues. Defective wheel speed sensor. Problems with the reluctor or ABS module. Source QuantrillVolvo.com